Hi everyone, and welcome to the Witchcrafter's Guide to ServiceNow, episode number 14. And I've been thinking about doing this for quite a while now, but we are going to go through what's new in the Madrid release. I normally have written blogs about it on the earlier releases, but since we're doing video, of course we're doing video on this one as well. My main red thread in this is not to show off all the cool things that you will be massively updated with throughout these weeks and months before you, like the Agent Workspace, Mobile Studio and stuff. I try to find the small little things that can help us developers, consultants a lot, and of course the clients, customers as well, to get that little extra out of ServiceNow. So, of course, never work with next. My name is Goran Lundqvist, aka the Witch Doctor. Been working around for ServiceNow now for almost 5 years, I think. Everything from the technical assignment dude to being the consultant, architecture, and of course being a customer as well. Best practice, yeah, you name it. A little bit of information about myself. I've probably said this before, and hopefully it's not the first video you look at me, so I'll leave this like it is. You got my contact details, just hit me up on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, or all of them of course if you want, and we'll have a chat. Then of course my book, if you want to buy it and haven't done it, still almost 400 sold books now, so it's going way over what I expected. Hit Amazon.com, search for ServiceNow, and you will find the book both as a Kindle or a paperback. According to Amazon, if you buy the paperback, you should be able to buy the ebook as well for like $2.99, I think, or something like that. But enough about me and what I do. What are we going to take a look about today? We're going to take a look about a few things. I'm going to show you a little bit how it works. Some stuff I can't show you, just tell you about it. We're going to look at the document viewer. We're going to look how you can actually call an action from the flow from a script. And of course, something that is probably not news to everybody, but now we have multiple knowledge bases and multiple service catalogs in the service portal, which is yay, finally. Then we have the mandatory attachment in catalog items. Just a quick look at the multi-factor login now works at the portal. For knowledge, we have something called ownership groups now. And then another thing that's kind of cool is the Instance Security Center. And last but not least, the rollback clone, how that works, and approval through Outlook, which is just also a small thing. So let's skip my PowerPoint. Let me hit that one and get my little bit of sheeting paper here. So first up is the document viewer, and let me just click on link. Doesn't say so much, but pretty much in this is a new thing in Madrid, which means that if you have a PDF file, you don't need to download it to be able to view it. At the moment it only works for PDFs, but let's see how we do it. Pretty much just hit the plugins and wait for loading to be finished. There we go. Document viewer. Hit install. As you can see, it should be free as well. After you've done that, you need to decide on which table should this one work on, and you do that by hitting an attribute. So let's hit our beloved dictionary, and all of this is actually really well documented in the text here, how you should do it. I just think it's more fun to show you than going through a text document. So let's go to instant table. You would like to go into the row, the record that is the collection record, which means it's for the whole table. Then you have all the different fields. So let's go in here, and under attributes you add the attribute that is called use document viewer and set that one to true. When you have done that, you can go to an incident. Let's get rid of that one. As you can see, I have a nice long PDF here. If I click view, it doesn't get downloaded. It opens up in the viewer, which is quite nice. And you can do most of the the common things, like you can zoom out, zoom in, you can flip it and rotate it, you can go to a specific page, you can see all the different pages from here to easily go through it, and you have search as well. And from here you can of course download it as well. So this was the document viewer. Not a big thing, but it could be really helpful if you don't want to download all the PDFs that you want to look at and read. Next thing up is the Flow API. Let's give you a good, and I'll put all these links in the YouTube comments so you can easily find each of the different document places as well. So here you have all the methods you can actually use to call, either to trigger a flow, the whole flow, or to just fetch and trigger a specific action. And what we are going to take a look at, and let me just go back to what I've written down, is of course how we can run an action, and that is pretty much this one. So let's go back and let's just hit, let me fetch, let me get the right view. And here you can see we have our activities. Let's script and use an action on this one. So I'll just copy that sysid. We'll go to Flow Designer to decide, and I'll show you the action we're going to use. And we have an action that is actually used to add a comment to our record. And this one, add comment, is one. You can see that we have two inputs, of course, which record you want to use it, and as you can see it's going for the task table. So you need, and let me zoom in a bit, that's pretty much good enough, I think, 105. And then of course the comment, what is the comment you would like to put in. And in this way this action is only for additional comments, it's not work notes. And then you can see the action actually goes into that field and fetches record and adds whatever we type into the additional comment. So how do we do that? Let's go back and let's just hit scripts, and I'm actually going to cheat a bit and steal the example code just to go through it what we actually do. And I'll do like this and here, and I'll skip the try and catch. Let's keep it. So first, as you can see, we need to put in the record that we want to update, and that record is a glide record. So first we need to fetch that one. So normally perhaps you have current as the object already, but let's get incident equals new glide record. I almost forgot, I have actually already written that text, so let me take a look. Where is that? The wrong one. I wanted the YouTube one. And let me steal that one so it goes faster for you guys. Here we go. And this is kind of interesting because right now I have no clue which incident that one is, so we'll see that. So I just put in a variable insys to put in the sysid. Then I have defined the variable my task records to be a glide record call for the incident table, and then I'll fetch that specific record through the get method. So basically you can see we need to have an object which is called inputs, and then we have one attribute there called AH underline task, which is equal to my task record, which is this one. And then here is my comment for episode 14. So we have these two values will be as an inputs. Then we're using this line to actually start that action or call that action. This is the name of the action. We can see that we know ServiceNow likes to put everything in spokes, and you can see in the flow designer, if I go back actions, you can see that this is not in the global, it's in the ITSM spoke, so that is why it's added first, and then the name of the action, and then we send in the inputs as well. I'll hit this one and we have an error, of course. That one shouldn't be there. Oops. Run. Here we go. Something has happened. Let's see if we can easily find it. I'm just going to steal this one, because if I go to incident, I guess it should be the one that is last updated. So let's filter on that one. Which one can it be? Yeah, there we go. Here is the one that I sent through that specific code. So of course this might not be the action you will be using, but it kind of using actions instead of script includes, I would say. So just keep that idea rolling and you'll probably get a lot of ideas of what you can do with that one. But the specific code that I did, I will put it up on my GitHub as an episode 14, so you can easily just copy paste it as well if that is needed. Let's go down because there's a lot of stuff and my time is kind of limited. So let's see. Yeah, next things up is the multiple catalogs and knowledge bases. Of course, you have all the documentation here how you can do it. So let's take a look how it actually is done. So we'll hit our portal. Let's take the service portal. We'll take the out of the box the SP one. As you can see, now the knowledge base and the service catalog isn't up here anymore. It is down here. And what you can do is just say, okay, the catalogs we're going to use is everything, all the catalogs. Now suddenly you can see well all those catalogs. If we go to the portal, now the hard part is trying to find something. I'm just reading out what I've written. Click request something. Now you can see, here you can see at the moment we have old catalogs, but I can of course decide where do I want to go. Small kind of bugs, I guess, because if it kind of looks like if I go to consumer, you can see we have actually two items, and I thought actually this was a bug first, but there is actually two catalog items calling how can we help you on that catalog, which is kind of weird, but good part is it works. You can filter it as well if you need it. If you click all, you get, of course, if there are the same label on the categories, you can see it says, I'm pointing with my finger, that's really good, but you can see on the pop-out this is support from the consumer catalog and this is support from the customer catalog. So it will show up there depending on which one you choose. Now, one thing to think about is that was, and of course it's specifically the same way about the knowledge bases as well. But what I want to show you is the search sources. If you have been messing around with this, modifying them, you probably need to hit the out of the box ones again, because since this is scripted, you will see that the code in here is different if you compare it to pre-Madrid. So if you have playing around with this one, editing them to change them, you will need to go back to the out of the box versions to get it to work. And I also wrote something about search for how it can help show page routing for as well as filter. Of course, if I go and search for how can we help. Now you can see this is coming up for the new search. I forgot to turn that one off. You can see you have new filters here, and you can decide which catalogs. If you have multiple results in multiple, you can click and say I only want to choose that one. Then what that one does, normally if we go to the service portal and page route maps, which has been around for a while, this one is false. Then you will notice that if I hit refresh, I'll get to the old version of search. This is the old page. You have no filters, anything at all, which is kind of dull. So instead of going through all the widgets and editing them to point to the new page, which is actually called, let's see, it's called SP underline search. What you can do is you can go, and you can see that we ended up in the new one, page routing, and this is really nice. From here, let's click on this record. You decide that whenever a user is trying to hit this page, we want to route them to that page. You don't have to edit the widgets. It's really nice to just do it. I'll just hit activate. If I don't select any portals, it will hit on all the portals. Otherwise, I can select which portals this routing is going to work on. The only bad part about this one is when you're troubleshooting, you will see that how can we, even if I had the page route, it still looks like I'm on the search page, which is not correct because I'm actually at the SP underline search. I'm just going to check something. If I take edit the page, then you can see I'll get to the correct page, so that's good at least. But it can be tricky if the user says, well, I'm at this page. You have to remember, do we have page routing on this portal or not? Next thing to talk about is the mandatory attachments. So let's go in and hit the catalog items. And let's just steal the standard laptop. And now we have, I actually don't know if this is on London or not, but under portal settings you have a nice little checkbox called mandatory attachment. If I check this one, let's look at that one before we have checked it. You can see I can just order it, nothing about attachments at all. If I go in here, hit mandatory save, let's remove that one, reload the page. Now you will have a nice little star down here. Hitting order now, you get this nice, and you can see you're back on track. You need to add an attachment. First release, of course, you might want it to be able to set 2 or 3 attachments or something like that, or perhaps we need one word attachment. But first release, this one is there, and I'll probably guess that it will be more advanced in New York when that one comes. But that's just me guessing and hoping, of course. Next thing up is the multi-factor authentication. I don't know if you've been playing around with it, but basically you can decide which users need to use the Google Authenticator to log in, meaning that you go to the instance, you log in with your password, then you will, as a second step, need to authenticate through your mobile, for example, and using the Google Authenticator app to do that. That one hasn't worked on the portal, but now when you log into the portal, it will work there as well. And basically it's just a free plugin. You go to plugins, you have the multi-factor. Let's find okay, Google come on, let's cheat and take a look. Google Authenticate application. I've done this earlier and played around. Activated integration. Why make it easy for us to find? Integration. And when? Here we go. I actually have it installed already. Good. So what you go is you go to a user. Where are my users? And if the field isn't visible, you have to use the form layout to put it there. And let's see, I don't have it there. So let's doing some dancing while we wait, I guess. And come on, there we go. We have enable multi-factor. I'll just move that one over and put it up here beneath internal integration user. I'll hit save, and now we have this one. So if I check this one enable, he will now need to be able to use the Google app to authenticate before going in. One thing that would be good to have is, of course, your admins perhaps. So your admin account, you need to have the Google Authenticator to log in, just to tighten that security a little bit more, at least for those people. Next thing up is the ownership groups. Let's take a look at that one. So earlier releases, knowledge bases, it was the author that has all the responsibilities. Now in Madrid, you can actually have ownership groups instead. So it's an entire group that owns the article, which is quite nice. Good to think about this one is that you need to set the type knowledge on the groups, because otherwise it won't pop up on the fields. So let's take a look at that one. Let's see, knowledge. We have ownership groups. We can see decide what do you want to do. We want to edit an ownership or create a new one. And I'll call this for Goran School KB Group. The manager, that's able. We have some members, Beth, of course, and we have Abraham, for example. I've never done this one before. I just read about it, so that's kind of new for me. So we actually created some kind of request. It's been submitted, okay, and they added some roles. And we have the request. We have. Wonder if this one it's been closed. Probably since I am an admin, I guess. Otherwise, I guess it will pop up here. But that's the groups. Let's take a look at the groups. You can see the groups needs to contain knowledge, the type. So only one group. If I go to the knowledge articles, let's just click up on this one. Now let's see what I can see here. The field doesn't seem to be here. Let's create a new one to see if it works. Oh yeah, I activated the templates earlier. Let's hit the standard one. It's in the IT, and as you can see, we don't have any groups here. Test. I think we probably need to put it out on the view ourselves. Ownership group, there we go. Ah, was it already there? It's hidden. Huh. Let's just make sure it's there. Let's go to the docs real quick. Do I need to activate it somehow? Why isn't it visible on the field? Huh, that's kind of weird. Let's take a look. Probably a UI policy. Hide article type, change visibility, manage retired. What is hiding it then? I should have probably no, that one doesn't do it. Wiki archetype, no. I just thought it might be that one, so hide latest AQ. What is AQI? I have no clue about that one. Nope. So why? Let's take a look at the knowledge base. Let's see if that one can set something up. That we're going to use knowledge groups on this one, perhaps. Owner management, checklist, disable. It's a cool feature, but we don't know how to use it. That's kind of. Guess I need to. I hate that I see it and it disappears. Wonder if I need to be a member of a group to be able to do that. Let's take a check. Wonder if I just need to see, did they use client scripts to hide it? Hey, you shouldn't do that. If Scratchpad is ownership enabled and ownership enabled and get valid, is it empty, then we'll hide it. So if this one exists and if that one is false and the field doesn't have any value, then we hide it. Okay, so we have a Scratchpad. So we have a business rule, so we'll troubleshoot some. Let's go back to our, because it didn't say anything about that one. So let's see. We only want to have the display name, not display name. When is display? Wonder if it's in this one. Let's see, advanced. Look, it's actually a property. We need to activate that one. So this one actually says that gets this property. If this property doesn't exist, the value should be false. I'm wondering, did the article say that you need to? Look, I'm one down too much, darn. So let's now we learned that the hard way. Now you don't have to miss that one. Properties.list. Let's take a look at that one. And we'll hit true. I wonder, we have properties in knowledge, so let's go to knowledge, properties. I'm guessing that it will be here as well. Ownership. I forgot. Yeah, there we go. Enable ownership. So we could have found it here as well, of course. So now we've done that, let's go to our knowledge, and it should not disappear. Now we have ownership groups, and the only should be mine. Yeah, now it works. Yay! Took a bit longer for us to get it to work, but now you won't do the same mistakes I did. So perfect. Before, I'm just going to take a quick look at the out-of-the-box notification to see that if they have been notifications, if they have been edited to actually handle the groups as well. Is it knowledge? I always forget what I should type. Oh, come on. Table is KB knowledge. Stop messing with me. I hate this one. Oh, come on. Where is my KB? Not feedback, not feed. I wonder if here I can big. So knowledge. If I do like this, show matching, what does it say in the filter? Table isn't there any? Ah, okay, they're putting everything in the feedback, not equal to star. In the feedback. So let's see. Info from submitter. Let's see which one. That one feels like something it should send to the group then, I guess. I forgot about him. You have the new functionality. Who will receive? Open by. Doesn't seem like the ownership groups. It's not anything. So I will probably, if you're using this, I will look into your notification and make sure that it will go to the correct group as well. Next up is the Incident Security Center. Let's take a look at that one. This is how it looks like, and this is actually a nice thing for you to look at and see how secure is my instance. Is there something I should actually enable and so on. I've been looking around the documentation and I can't really find that it needs the licensed version of Performance Analytics. I think it's the free one, just like the couple of ones you have for Incident. I didn't activate anything for it to become on my Madrid instance, so if you have it out of the box or after upgrade, then I guess it's the free version. Otherwise, contact your ServiceNow account manager. Let's hit the Instant Security Center. New pop-up, and you can see the different kinds of information. What I'm going to take a look at today is the hardening, to see how are we compliant for the things that ServiceNow think that you should actually do. Here you have the different breakdowns. You can click on detail record to see what are the things, and most of these are properties that they think that you should actually have. Let's take a look at the optional. For example, we have 6 non-compliant. I'll click on this one, detail records, and here you can actually see, for example, they think that it's quite nice that you have the multi-factor. In this case, you can actually click on it to get some more information about what am I supposed to do, what do you want. This one actually pops up on hierarchical, and I need to log in, but let's keep this one. I don't want to show you the high portal now, but it's quite a good way to give you at least how are we doing, how many admins do we have, how many logins do we have, how many times have we actually elevated our security, are we impersonating people a lot, and so on. This one is kind of interesting. I wonder how that one works. Impersonation created on today. Let's test this one. I'm going to impersonate Beth. There we go. Then I'm impersonating myself. And I don't think this is real time. Look at this. Now we have one impersonation. I can click on this one, see impersonating Beth, and can I? One thing missing. I would of course want to see who impersonated Beth, but that's an enhancement, I guess. So the 2 last things is actually not so much I can show you, but just going to show about the rollback clone. Now if you have cloned, you can actually yourself roll back, which pretty much means that I guess you I thought that you actually were getting it from the last backup, but you have 7 days, then you can roll back. After 7 days of clone, you can't roll back anymore. The instance contains the same data it has before the clone, so it must be that before we clone we take a snapshot, or not we, ServiceNow take a snapshot of the whole instance, put on the clone, and then you can revert back to that snapshot. It doesn't say that you need to get the backup from last night or something like that, so I guess it's quite nice actually. That's about it. Rollback clone, nice new feature. Hopefully you never need to use it, I guess. And last up we have the approvals. As you probably know that earlier we have the approval mail going out. If you would like to use it, the user clicks on a link, creates a new email that the user needs to send. Now if you're using Outlook, you can actually have what they say is the Outlook actionable messages, which can be small buttons at the mail, so the user can have a more nicer interface of approving. If I did like this, just to give you some pictures, and I thought I found a pretty nice one. I didn't save it, of course. You can see here, and the best part is you don't, my guess is Outlook does send an email, but at least the user doesn't need to click a lot of times. You just decide what you want to do that thing, and it's done. I read that there was some limitations. It doesn't work for Mac, it seems. I never used Mac almost. I have no clue if there's another way around it or so. And of course you have the cooler things here, how you actually do it, include it. And take a look at this out of the box one if you like to do your own stuff as well. So that's about it. I think we are pretty done. We have been recording for over half an hour now. That's about it for me. I hope you like the stuff you've seen and get a lot of ideas for it, and I'll see you around.